Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to me lying. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be doing a video reacting to me lying about watching videos of me reacting to videos of me lying. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a video where I react to videos of me reacting to videos about me lying, where I react to videos of me lying. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a video of me reacting to me lying about reacting to a video about me lying to reacting a video to about me lying of where I'm watching a video about me lying. You see, Amberlynn, isn't this confusing? I'm extremely confused to what's actually going on right now, and not actually because of this video, no, because of your entire career. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know at this point, today we're speaking about Amberlynn Reid. And yes, I am just as confused as you are. Fellas, this year I made this really long video where I spoke about basically a cinematic universe of another content creator. Yes, it is a little bit strange that a content creator is making basically a documentary about another content creator, but that's basically what YouTube content has become nowadays. And now, I really like this video. I go through quite a lot of crazy things in the video. I speak about controversies, I speak about exposés, and I go through it, give the story, give my opinion briefly, and say whether I think it's dumb, whether I think it's correct, and blah 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 blah. You get the gist of it. It's an iceberg video. Now that was obviously all to do with Amberlynn Reid.
You're healthy. Like she had my charts in her hand. She was like, you're healthy, but you are obese.
And I genuinely wasn't planning on making another video speaking about Amberlynn for a very long time because I felt like I've basically said everything a man can possibly say about somebody, especially in an hour-long iceberg video. That was until Amberlynn recently released another hour-long video titled I Lied and I'm So Sorry. This just in, breaking news. The least shocking information of all time has been revealed. Scientists and journalists are just absolutely shocked at this vital piece of information that for some reason just didn't come to our brains for the last 20 years. We studied this aspect of life and we just couldn't work out, was Amberlynn Reid lying? Did she lie? Well, it turns out she did. Dun dun dun! In this video, Amberlynn directly responds to a video which is basically calling Amberlynn out for a lot of her inconsistencies. And by inconsistencies, I mean bullshit. Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's still the first 3 minutes of the video, Fraser. None of that. We want monetization, thank you very much. Sorry, I meant by inconsistencies, she was telling porky pies. Throughout Amberlynn's career, she has been absolutely hounded and criticised for a multitude of different things, hence my iceberg video, where I basically went through absolutely everything and kind of just said, this is this, and this is this. And in this video, Amberlynn is seemingly going to respond to a large amount of these inconsistencies that she's been called out for over the last 10 years. So I thought it would be like a nice little fun thing to go through this and see what Amberlynn has to say and kind of break it down and see, is Amberlynn unfairly treated? Is she unfairly criticised? And come to some form of conclusion by the end of this video of where we sit here and think, is Amberlynn Reid justifiably criticised? So yes, without further ado, let's get into the inconsistencies of Amberlynn Reid.
Okay guys, welcome to a new video. So I am going to be reacting to a video that points out my inconsistencies. Sorry, I was going to say consistencies.
I mean, bless her. She can't even say the word. Probably because she knows that inconsistency probably isn't the true word that should really be used here. But she's trying. She's trying her best. And I'm going to give her some praise whilst I can. I
want to do like a full-fledged disclaimer that everything I'm about to say in this video is 100% truth. I feel like it's important that I make this video to help you guys understand or to admit to my wrongdoings, or just to get you guys and I on the same page, because I can understand why it may be hard to believe things I say because of my inconsistencies. Like, trust me, I would not be sitting here making this video if I was just gonna sit here and ignore what's being said or gaslight in any way or make excuses in any way. I really want us all together to realize that sometimes reasonings for something or just like me explaining something does not always make it an excuse. It's literally just me explaining. So I have huge fears making this video that people literally are just going to believe what they want.
Now, I do think for the most part, most people on the internet and in life in general are open to change, growing and becoming a better person, unless your name is James Charles, when I just say, I don't really want any growth, I just want you to get off social media. But for the most part, if you're not an influencer that's committed a terrible crime, I think that you can grow, change, and become a better person. But with Amberlynn, it is a little bit more difficult, given the fact that her career on social media has been basically just nothing but controversy. Like, you don't really hear anybody say, oh yeah, I'm a fan of Amberlynn Reid, I love Amberlynn Reid's content. It's just like, oh yeah, I know about Amberlynn Reid because everybody on the internet thinks that she's a terrible person. You don't ever meet somebody just loving Amberlynn. It's always just, yeah, she's not that good, is she? But I think Amberlynn, if you're gonna say that you want to change and learn, you should probably not start this video by dubbing your lies as inconsistencies. Just be real with us and say, you know what, fellas, most of you are a little bit nutty, but at the same time, I understand that throughout my life, I have chatted quite a lot of bollocks, and we're going to go through all of that today. If you started the video like that, I'd say, you know what, Amber? Fair play. It's not really the worst thing in the world, but I feel like it is a bit funny when you start off a video where you're attempting to be genuine for once in a disingenuine manner. It's probably not, like, particularly a wise way to start one of those videos. It's like being like, hey guys, today I'm gonna tell the truth whilst also chatting complete and utter bollocks. It's just like, well, what's the point? But I don't want to be that guy, but I am going to shamelessly, and I know it's annoying, but ask if you could just subscribe to the channel, because if you don't, I will send Nikocado Avocado to your bedroom at 3 a.m. So if you don't want to risk that, please hit subscribe. I know it's very annoying for me to put these little begs in. I've tried to do less and less, but yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you just hit sub, because genuinely, like 50%, I know every YouTuber says it, but 50% of you watching, maybe even more, aren't subscribed. So if you could like the video and subscribe, that would be amazing. Please, thank you very much. I've been trying to put more effort into these videos, so yeah, please, 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 please. Thank you. I know it's annoying, trust me, but it's just what I've got to do. It's my job at the end of the day, and I've got to pay bills. I'm moving house soon. But yeah, back to the video.
I have huge fears making this video that people literally are just going to believe what they want and they're not going to listen to what I'm saying. I also have huge fears that people are just going to say excuses, excuses, excuses. I'm afraid that me making this video, even though it's all pure good intentions, I really just want a better relationship with my audience. And I'm just afraid that what I am going to say, people aren't going to like.
Now, I can understand what Amberlynn is saying here. The internet is always going to be the internet, and you are always going to have haters, no matter if you're the most amazing content creator on the planet. You could be Mr. Beast, who does so much for so many people, yet there is a massive crowd that really don't like him for all so many different reasons. And the same goes for basically every other content creator out there. And I feel like you just need to learn to not give in to that, because if you do, it can make you a worse person, and it can basically convince you that you need to start lying about who you actually are. And this is a big problem with this video. I've gone through it about 3 times now, and the pattern I take from this whole thing is Amberlynn is basically just trying to be genuine to an extent of where it's not actually genuine, and it's clear she's only saying the things that she's saying in an attempt to please her audience. And understandably, being on the internet and being afraid of what people think of you is naturally going to happen with anybody, especially on social media. I personally, even I get it, you know, and I'm a guy that like basically chronically judges people on this channel. Yeah, I can get a little bit worried by what somebody maybe that I respect thinks about me. Maybe I'll get upset if somebody in my audience starts saying bad things about me. I could be worried about that. But with Amberlynn, it's obviously a little bit different, because her entire career has obviously been built on just basically controversy, being exposed, lying, manipulating, doing a load of bad things that her audience regularly call her out for. So with Amberlynn, I can understand kind of in a weird way why she would be scared, because with her admitting to the things that she's been called out for, it's obviously only going to validate her critics, and that's only going to spur them into calling Amberlynn out even more. And I think Amberlynn is fully aware of this. And to be honest with you, after watching this video, as I said, like 3 times, because yes, I am extremely mentally unwell, I've kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, Her critics, for the most part, have been pretty much validated from this video, because not only did Amberlynn admit to some lies in this video, but she also admitted to them whilst just trying to give excuses for basically every single one of them, which is obviously something that a lot of people in the Amberlynn-verse like to be critical of Amberlynn for. Because when I did my iceberg video, I was kind of going through it being like, yeah, none of these are really that bad, but it's mainly the fact that Amberlynn does something that isn't really that bad, but then for some reason lies about it, and it just gets worse and worse and becomes this big avalanche of terribleness, which in reality could have been solved by just being like, yeah, my bad, but no, it's Amberlynn Reid, and it's just got to snowball and get worse and worse. And the first lie that we're going to be speaking about today is actually something that I can pretty much defend Amberlynn on, and this is the rumor that Amberlynn isn't or wasn't actually diagnosed with bipolar up until recently.
I am bipolar. I have known for a very long time without actually being diagnosed that I am bipolar.
Okay, so here it says, okay, so this is a tweet that I made in 2013. It says I was diagnosed at a young age. Okay, well, I'll just read the whole thing. It says, I don't just say I'm bipolar to say it. I was diagnosed at a young age. Also, depression, anxiety disorder, and OCD. And then the clip you just saw was from 2 years ago. So it's very contradictory. Okay, so when I was younger, I did see so many therapists, counselors. It's because I had to. Being in foster care, like 9 times out of 10, like therapy is almost like obligated. It's your choice if you want to sit there and talk or just like sit there and stare at the wall. But having appointments and seeing those kinds of people are very important. And during that time, I was told that I show signs of being bipolar. So I think at a young age, because I think I was like 15 or 16, when I was told, you know, you show signs of bipolar, you probably are. I took that, ran with it, and from that point on, I was like, oh, diagnosed with bipolar. I'm wrong for that because I was not diagnosed with bipolar. They said that I could have bipolar, that I showed signs of being bipolar. That doesn't mean that I am bipolar. Because showing signs of something, it could be anything.
I think a lot of people on the internet do genuinely need to relax when it comes to the whole thing about self-diagnosing. And this isn't just with Amberlynn Reid. I feel like this is a thing in general. A lot of people need to chill over. Personally, I did actually used to think, oh, self-diagnosing's really stupid. And then my little brain actually learned some information of, oh yeah, in every other country throughout the world, a lot of people don't have access to free healthcare. And if they do, there's probably going to be extremely long waiting lists. Recently, I got diagnosed with ADHD via private healthcare because I'm in an extremely privileged position of where I can go and do that. But understandably, a lot of people out there suffer from ADHD but are on a 2-year waiting list to get that official diagnosis so they can start like getting help for it or just help themselves in general. So understandably, these people are going to just say that they have ADHD so they can start to live with it and learn how to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. And that's absolutely fine. I really don't have a problem with anybody doing this as long as they're not going out and spreading misinformation about the sort of mental disorder that they are going to get diagnosed with or self-diagnose themselves with. And obviously, if you're self-diagnosing in an attempt to kind of brush away criticism or just using it for attention, then yes, you are a complete and utter bellend, and some people will argue that Amberlynn has done that in the past, and I can understand that criticism, but when it comes to the whole consistency of her being diagnosed throughout her life with ADHD and not being diagnosed, I really don't think it's the worst of lies told in this whole video. In fact, I'm not really that upset by it whatsoever. But the one thing I did notice throughout that clip is, yeah, Amberlynn said before that she wants to explain things and the explanations aren't excuses, but just based on some of the things that she says throughout that video, they do come off as excuses to me personally, in like a way of where she is trying to be overly genuine to, I guess, appease her audience. And to be honest with you, I would have been just fine and happy if Amberlynn was like, you know what, guys, yeah, I didn't have a diagnosis at one point, but, you know, because somebody told me that I have signs bones of it. I just said that I did so I could deal with it. And I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. That's a good explanation. And I don't need to hear anything more. But she overly explains and it comes off like an excuse. And that's a thing which I've noticed in this video, as I said before, where I guess over explanations come off as excuses. And it just gets weird that some things which to me personally aren't issues become issues just because of how Amberlynn seems disingenuine by seemingly being over genuine.
Just trust me. Like, it literally felt like me and Becky were just roommates, so it was easier for me to move on. We like never hugged. Like, she never complimented me. I probably didn't compliment her. Like, I wasn't perfect either. There was just nothing, like, at all. So it's like nothing has changed, it feels like. Besides, maybe we vibe better because there's not this like big heavy feeling like on our chest or on our shoulders anymore. Why did you agree to marry her? I don't know. Deep down in my gut, I wasn't happy like I should have been. You know how like when someone proposes, like you're supposed to like cry? Like I low-key like tried to fake cry. I know that sounds so bad. Oh my god. Admitting it is like so just horrible. I don't know. Becky and I just weren't good like that. Were you ever in love with Becky to begin with? I loved Becky unconditionally. I'm just not entirely sure I was actually in love. I will admit that my heart was extremely broken and I said things on live stream that definitely kind of shocked me later when I went back and saw it. I was kind of harsh to her because it's like she just broke my heart. It was some weird mental gymnastics I was doing where it's like I kind of wanted her to feel some sort of pain. I know a lot of people who get their heart broken, they go through it differently, but one of the stages that I feel like I went through without like thoroughly processing that I went through it was just like I was mad. I was massively upset that like she proposed to me. So I was assuming we were, you know, about to create a life together more than the one we had now. And then she just like took that away a couple months later. So it was very much like I was angry. I feel like I don't feel anger a lot. So I guess when I do feel it, I kind of go through it without realizing it. And I think during the moments of my anger and me being really, really hurt, I can definitely say that I said some mean things to her.
I smell a lovely bit of bullshit. I don't know why I just did that. It's like I'm tasting it, and it doesn't taste good. It tastes like big, putrid, stinky bullshit, because that's exactly what it is. Look, I think everybody has gone through a breakup where they probably go to their friends in private and say something about their ex that they don't actually mean. Something horrible, something that they might actually mean, but you know, it's to your friend in private. Usually, in a breakup, that's absolutely fine. We're all a bit toxic in private here and there. That's usually completely fine. But in this case, Amberlynn was smearing her ex publicly, which obviously, when you're a social media influencer with loads of people following you, that's probably not a good idea. In fact, no, not probably, it's just not a good idea. And it's clear here that Amberlynn is now seemingly blaming it on heartbreak, despite previously saying that she wasn't in love with Becky. So obviously this is just a complete and utter load of bollocks. As I said previously, the majority of the lies that Amberlynn is involved in really, in my opinion, aren't that bad. Some of them you just sit there thinking, wow, is this really an issue? Until you realize that the issue was created by Amberlynn, who just spirals these things into getting worse and worse by seemingly just making the situation worse by just not being able to admit the truth and then lying and then making it worse by snowballing it even further. And it just gradually just becomes this thing of you're like, this didn't need to be an issue and you have made it an issue.
I'm gonna be honest, the breakup was confusing. I went through a lot of different stages. Anger, relief, sadness, depression, happiness, hope. I went through it all. I really did. My broken heart, my anger, the resentment, whatever it may be, does not justify the way that I treated Becky. It doesn't.
Oh, I mean, I guess we actually don't have to get the board out for once. I mean, I feel like we've been getting this out in every single video recently, but it's just nice to know that for one time, Amberlynn Reid is actually the one in the right here.
I have apologized to her in person. I've apologized to her in text. I've apologized to her on FaceTime. I have done a lot of apologies because Becky is a good person.
Wow, she's actually doing really well here. Like, she's, you know, she's telling the truth and she's being genuine. Like, this is really good.
With a f***ing good heart. And it is what it is. I was mean. I was.
Amberlynn.
Because I was mad.
Don't.
And when I get mad, I get irrational.
Yeah, you were.
I say things I don't mean.
Amberlynn, don't. You were doing so well.
There's something in your brain that triggers like flight or fight response.
Oh, Amberlynn, you were doing so well. You were. I thought for one video I wouldn't have to get it out, but I'm gonna have to get Amberlynn. You were doing so well. You ruined it.
And with trauma-based people, especially like childhood trauma, a lot of people fight instead of flight. My fight is kind of mean.
I mean, I understand that poor mental health can make you say and do some silly things here and there, but in this case, couldn't you just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I was a bellend in that situation and I'm gonna work on it? Could you not just say that? But it seems that every influencer needs to pull out the fact that whenever they do something or say something bad, it's the mental health card. And maybe it is an aspect, but like, it's getting tiring hearing it in every single case of an influencer doing something wrong. It's fascinating to me that YouTubers just can't say, I'm sorry, without going on this tangent and then ending it with the dreaded but. It's genuinely my favorite thing on social media, to watch a social media star, I guess, respond to being called out, and they'll go on this long tangent of where they'll seemingly say some valid things, but then they'll end the sentence with the dreaded but yeah, moving away from that, we then get on to the next thing that Amberlynn responds to, and to be honest with you, this part is genuinely hilarious, and we're going to go through this bit gradually, and I'm just going to play basically this little tangent that Amberlynn went on for a few minutes, just so you can get the full context before we go further into it.
What happened with the doctor's diet competition? I thought you were very excited to start that on January 1st, and I said, what are you even talking about? I actually don't know what this is from. I don't know what either of these from. Someone else asked me, did your doctor invite you to one? I guess we're talking about a support group. And I said, no, she didn't invite me to a support group. Okay.
Her and her co-workers and employees, like in the office where she works, in January, they were starting like a weight loss thing, just like within the office. And she was like, I want to invite you to join us. And every single month, you don't even have to pay. You come in every single month, we can weigh you and you can be a part of this. And I was like, just her thinking of me.
Yes, this was the same time that doctor that sings, that's the best way to describe her for you guys. This was the same time where I went in and I asked her like about how should I lose weight. And she said low carb, 1,500 calories. This is when she thought of this idea for me to come in and to weigh myself.
So yes, Amberlynn goes on this long 3-minute tangent about how there basically was no diet competition, and to be honest with you, even if there was, I wouldn't care. But Amberlynn is making it seem like, no, this just didn't happen, and I feel like the person that wrote this thing is completely wrong. And not in a bad way, but she just seems like very, very confident about this.
Here, I think I'm understanding it more. What happened with the doctor's diet competition? I said, what are you talking about? Because it was never supposed to be a competition.
So yes, Amberlynn happily and confidently says that there is no weight loss competition, that never existed, and it was just something else that the author of the post has clearly accidentally wrote, and Amberlynn is just very confident about this and just keeps reiterating that no, this thing, it was never a thing.
That, which in my response was, she didn't invite me to a support group. Because I took the idea of a support group as a bunch of her patients or a bunch of individuals that she sees coming together in like a meeting format. Like we sit around and we talk about stuff like that. So that's what I took that as. I didn't really consider at the time me coming to weigh myself and having some of the people at the office weigh themselves. I did not at the time consider that a support group. But now that I hear more about it and I'm more rational, it does make more sense that it is kind of like a support group. So hopefully that makes sense.
Telling me, I want you to be part of the weight loss journey and competition within my office meant...
Oh, shit.
So it seems that there was actually a competition. For some reason, Amberlynn decided to lie or exaggerate or distort the truth, or, I don't know, have a seeming For some reason, Amberlynn decided to, I don't know, distort the truth, have an inconsistently, tell a lie. And to be honest with you, I don't even care about the nature of what she is lying about here. I don't think it's that deep whatsoever. Do I care whether Amberlynn Reid was in a weight loss competition? No, I don't. But it's weird to me that in a video speaking about her lives and admitting to them, she then tries to cover up a lie by making another lie, but in that same video gets exposed by a video from her from 4 years ago. It's like the most Amberlynn Reid shit I've ever seen, and this is like Amberlynnception. Like, it's just so weird. Like, why do you find the need to exaggerate the truth or lie about absolutely everything? And yeah, after that, Amberlynn's just like, you know what? Yeah, I I am just a chronic bullshitter.
I said competition, but she didn't say competition. I feel like maybe sometimes in the past I exaggerated things.
Oh yeah, of course, in the past.
To make them seem more better in a way. I honestly don't know.
And yeah, Amberlynn seemingly is just like, you know what, yeah, I've said some bullshit in my life and I'm not going to say anything else about that, and she seemingly moves on to the next thing. And I keep saying throughout this, it's like, none of these things are particularly awful. Like, I cover some of the worst influencers doing the most terrible things on this channel, and out of everything, these things are so nice and tame. Like, I hear it and I'm like, you know what? It's nice to see an influencer get exposed for something so small, but Amberlynn, again, just makes it bigger than it needs to be. Amberlynn, I don't necessarily believe that you're a malicious person, but surely exaggerating the truth consistently is just another form of lying and a term to use when you're just trying to cover up those lies. And Amberlynn does actually address this sort of. She addresses the fact that her audience don't dislike her because of the whole weight loss stuff, the whole diet culture stuff, but actually because of all of the lying surrounding Amberlynn, all of the manipulation and gaslighting that her audience believe that she has done over the last few years. And Amberlynn gives like the weirdest response.
Let's say I do gaslight my audience.
Okay. This was from an Instagram Q&A. They said, will you ever acknowledge that your hate is more about the lies and manipulation than your weight? I replied with no, because I haven't lied and I'm not manipulating anyone. I can't acknowledge something that isn't true.
Let's say I do gaslight my audience. Who freaking cares?
Okay, here it says gaslighting is a form of manipulation that often occurs in abusive relationships. It is a covert type of emotional, I'm sure abuse would be the next word. So when I said this here, I was being dramatic. I was being so dramatic. I actually am not going to sit here and say I've never gaslighted you guys, because that's not okay to say. If you guys have felt gaslit, then I have gaslit. Because I'm not going to take away the way you feel or the way you say or see things. I wanted to make this video to have all these answers and reasons to make you guys understand me, and I don't. Besides, I just get overwhelmed and I say and do things that are irrational, and I don't mean to ever manipulate.
This whole thing just kind of feels incredibly disingenuous to me. Like, throughout watching this entire video, I've kind of had this feeling that Amberlynn is like attempting to be a human being. And I'm not just trying to be mean when I say that, but it's like she acknowledges that she's lied, manipulated, even gaslit possibly, but then she's like, you know what? I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I'm sorry if you think that I've lied to you. It's like she's not admitting it, but she is admitting it, and it's just in a really disingenuous manner.
I actually am not going to sit here and say I've never gaslighted you guys, because that's not okay to say. If you guys have felt gaslit, then I have gaslit. Because I'm not going to take away the way you feel or the way you say or see things.
Amberlynn, if you genuinely don't feel like you've lied, gaslit, and manipulated your audience, that's perfectly fine and you are entitled to come out on the defense. I feel like influencers who get exposed constantly feel like they can't come out and, I guess, rebuttal the exposés on them. You can do that, and you don't just have to say, oh guys, I'm sorry if you feel like I've lied and manipulated and gassed at you. Like, if you genuinely don't think that, then say that. I would genuinely much prefer you to come out on the offensive if it's authentic and genuine, rather than seemingly admit to something whilst not admitting to something.
If you guys have felt gaslit, then I have gaslit.
It's just very weird and disingenuous, and it kind of, I guess, is a continuous pattern throughout this video of where Amberlynn is just trying to say the things that she thinks her audience would appreciate. When you look at the comment section, and it's clear most people are just being like, wow, you struggle at the most basic things of just being a genuine person. But moving further and further into the lies, it just gets weird and goes back to the thing I was mentioning earlier about where Amberlynn, when she actually, I guess, admits to something she's done wrong, usually it's a lie which really isn't the worst lie on the planet. But Amberlynn, because I guess she's trying to appease her audience, makes it sound so much more emotional and deep. And it's just bizarre to me that I'm just gonna play this clip. And am I the only one that's a little bit confused by this?
Or that I paid for the ring, and I just want to say that Becky actually paid for it.
Okay, so here looks like, is this Instagram? Yeah. This is an Instagram Q&A that I did. I said, I bought the rings, Becky didn't. Okay, and then here, you can listen to me again.
I do have sleep apnea. Or that I paid for the ring, and I just want to say that Becky actually paid for it. She gets commissions for her art, so I don't know, that just like made me sad that a lot of people were just like, oh my god, you paid for your own ring, da, da, da. It's almost like, even if I did, who cares, but I didn't.
Okay, so this was made after the breakup, and this was after the engagement. I'm pretty sure this was the live stream where sorry, I'm getting emotional because I know exactly what I'm about to say, and I'm just scared. So this was the live stream, I'm pretty sure, where I announced that I'm engaged, where I talked about it a lot. I don't want Becky mad at me. So Becky, if you see this, I love you as a person, but I need to be honest because this is what this video is about. I lied here. I wanted to protect Becky. Becky and I agreed that we would say that she bought the engagement rings. A lot of people were saying, oh, Becky used Amberlynn's money to propose, da 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 da. I didn't want people to think that. I also selfishly, I will say that selfishly, didn't want people to think that I bought my own ring.
Again, I really don't think that this is this deep, horrible thing. It's like, no, it's a pretty normal thing, and I'm really not upset by this. But Amberlynn just seemingly wants to, I guess, appease her audience so much that she's trying to over-convince them that she's sorry. And it's like, Amberlynn, I really don't think people care that much, and it's actually creeping me out to the point of where you are making this feel very uncomfortable. I mean, I guess in this case it is just a situation of Amberlynn trying to seem empathetic and caring, but to be honest with you, it's just coming off really creepy. It's coming off like somebody is trying to be human. Do you ever hear about the skinwalker thing on TikTok? I don't really know how far it goes, but apparently it's when like mysterious mythical entities pretend to be human beings and they just do it really badly and it's really obvious. I feel like that's what's going on here. Somebody is trying to convey emotion in a moment of where it's really not that emotional. Like, it's really not that bad, but for some reason it's now being made into this bad thing for no particular reason. I mean, what I can take from this is either two things. That A, Amberlynn struggles at doing normal things like genuine apologies. Apologies are things which really don't matter. And in fact, I think she just could just say, you know what? Yeah, that happened, and yeah, it was a lie. And to be honest with you, I'm not that sorry because it was just something I was doing in a caring manner for the person that I was at the time. If she said that, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But Amberlynn is seemingly just making it seem so much worse, which is something I keep saying that she keeps doing throughout this entire video. But it could also be B, of where Amberlynn is genuinely a chronic liar and she doesn't know how to tell the truth, and when she desperately tries to, it comes off extremely disingenuous and extremely uncomfortable. Even at the end of the video, Amberlynn's just like, yeah guys, I'm sorry for lying and I'm sorry for gaslighting, but it seems weird, and she does just give even more excuses.
This is a long video. I have a lot of editing to do, but I think it'll be worth it. Hopefully you guys can understand me more. Again, I just apologize for ever making you guys feel deceived or gaslit or manipulated. It's like never my intention to do those things, and I think that's like what sucks, is because I do shit that I don't intend, and then it just turns into this big old thing, but it's ultimately my fault. And I'm sorry. And
Amberlynn, if you are genuinely chronically lying to the internet and you are worried that this is a thing that you do, you shouldn't be putting yourself on camera every day for an hour and journaling this. You should be journaling this to a therapist. Like seriously, based on everything I've heard in this video, it's genuinely coming off like Amberlynn doesn't actually mean to do the things that she does throughout her entire life. It seems that she's actually like portraying herself as this chronic liar, and she genuinely just can't help the things that she does. She just exaggerates the truth constantly, makes it sound better than it actually is, or something like that. And Amberlynn, at the same time, I'm trying to work out, is that a lie or is that the truth? If it is the truth, I feel like you need to actually go and seek help rather than going to a YouTube channel and using it as like a personal therapist. I would rather just, I would recommend you just go and actually seek help with something like that, because if that is a genuine thing that you suffer with, you should go seek professional help. And Amberlynn at the starting of this video did actually say that she feels like she's constantly walking on eggshells. And Amberlynn, I feel like the solution to that is, one, go see a therapist if you feel like you chronically lie about things. And if you don't feel like that, then go for the option 2 of maybe just don't lie about things.
it makes me feel like I have to walk on eggshells. Like every little tiny thing that I do, whether it's a mistake or something, people are gonna like report me to YouTube and stuff, and I'm just like over here like, it was an accident and this is a mistake that I learned from. I tried to fix it, and I'm just sorry that I seemed like I was deceiving you guys, because I really wasn't.
I mean, maybe Amberlynn, take my advice and maybe go seek some form of therapy, or maybe just, you know, tell the truth. To come to some form of conclusion in this video, I said in my iceberg that I feel like a lot of the criticism towards Amber is very unfair, but at the same time, I do acknowledge that Amberlynn definitely has done and said some bad things, but also, as I keep saying, Amberlynn makes the lightest, I guess, of controversies turn into the most massive of controversies, and Amberlynn, you just need to not do that. It's so easy to not, but you keep doing it consistently throughout your entire career, and this video is another case of that. I don't think Amberlynn Reid is this big, scary criminal overlord of the internet who is like doing all of these crazy, manipulative, planned out things. I don't think it's that, and I'd like to believe a lot of people don't think that way, but understandably, if you are engrossed in this Amberlynn verse, you probably are going to think that for the most part, because there is probably a lot I don't know about, but just on face value, I don't want to think that she is this supervillain, but I do think that she does warrant criticism, and I do think that she has done a lot of bad and stupid things. But overall, I also think that Amberlynn knows that her entire career thrives on these stupid things, and Amberlynn Reid does know that her life is basically a complete reality TV show. It is the Amberlynn Reid show. When I first started making these videos, it was because I was mad at the fact that I believed that Amberlynn Reid was completely and utterly exploiting diet culture, and I do still believe that, but as I've gradually made more and more videos exploring the Amberlynn verse, I've only come to the realization of the fact that this is a reality TV show, and it is absolutely mental, and I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. Amberlynn does need to grow and change, but to be honest with you, I don't think she's going to, because as I've said previously, Obviously, all of this makes a lot of money for Amberlynn, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, because this is her life now. This is how she makes her bills get paid, and this is how she lives. And to an extent, I can weirdly understand that, and I can understand why this is just going to keep going on and on and on, and I'm probably going to keep talking about it because, one, it's entertaining and fascinating, because as I said, it's like a TV show, and yes, that is weird, but again, this is the Amberlynn verse, and anything can happen. But that is the ending of this video. Thank you very much for coming along to this very strange video of where we go over things which really aren't that much of a problem, but ultimately just get snowballed into the worst possible thing. What do you think about this? I would genuinely love to know your honest to God thoughts on Amberlynn Reid, particularly the people that aren't really that interested in this topic. What do you feel about this person? Do you feel they get fair treatment or unfair treatment? I would love to know. Please let me know in the comment section, and I will take a look and reply to some of your comments. And also, if you could do, please like this video, please get it to 20,000 likes, and please follow my Instagram at inabber, my Twitter at inabber69, and my second channel, inabberlive. It's all there in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, and have a lovely day. Bye.